I wonder what kind of mushrooms they take to level up. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and 2024 just got a lot weirder, and it's only going to get more weird from here, as of course a lot of people are being called out, specifically Mark Cuban, Dr. Fauci, and a lot of other really horrible individuals, as of course there's also Jewish tunnels now. Yes, we're going to be talking about that, plus all the latest news here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is from @CensoredMan that created just absolutely more meme magic here, highlighting a very weird situation unfolding right now in Brooklyn, New York, where there are some individuals declaring a riot as people are being arrested inside of an Orthodox Jewish synagogue over the construction of secret underground tunnels. Yes, this is a real story. Yes, this is a real issue, as the tunnel's purpose is still unclear, as dozens of Orthodox Jewish men were arrested as they were standing up and fighting against police officers who entered their synagogue and tried to assess the situation, only to be met by significant resistance. Now, some people believe that the tunnels were built because of the government's lockdown efforts during 2020. Some people say that they're just 6 months old. Lots of really weird narratives here. What's really going on here? I don't know. Does it really even matter? I don't know. We'll see. This says, of course, that's not the only fighting that's going on, as, of course, Elon Musk is going after a fellow billionaire, Mark Cuban, and calling him out for being a racist, as Mark Cuban keeps denouncing white people for some reason, even though he is a white male. This as Mark Cuban keeps promoting DEI efforts. Very interesting to see an NBA basketball team owner call for diversity and equity efforts. This as a Twitter user, just... I think this is an actual real person, volunteered themselves to be the latest point guard for the Dallas Mavericks, as if you support inclusion and diversity efforts, having just tall men be part of your basketball team, it's not very diverse. It's not very inclusive. It's not very DEI friendly, as previously called out by Elon Musk, as now the internet keeps making fun of Mark Cuban for having some weird fetishization with essentially him hating himself for the way that he was born. Yeah, what a weirdo. And Elon Musk calling his DEI efforts racist absolutely do make sense, as of course they are not implemented in his own basketball team. This as Mark Cuban recently defended diversity goal efforts by United Airlines, woke efforts that have put into question the safety of airlines recently, that aren't putting the best technicians, the best pilots, the best people for the job, but the people who of course have a particular skin color. As some reports even detail how 94% of new corporate jobs are now going to individuals who are not white, all a part of larger DEI efforts and BlackRock, State Street's woke capitalistic that really amounts to just socialism efforts, as Bloomberg News literally released the report highlighting how if you're white, if you're born a specific way, you're screwed out of the job market. And yes, this is an actual report from Bloomberg, as even Don Lemon just recently was able to get a job himself after being disgracefully fired from CNN, which says a lot, as Elon Musk is hiring him, leaving a lot of people kind of bewildered here, saying, why? No one's going to be watching his show anyway. As Elon Musk and X Business announced on Twitter that they have a new content partnership with Don Lemon, and how the quote award-winning TV journalist will share his very unique and okay, who wrote this? There's nothing really unique about Don Lemon, who literally was just saying everything that the corporate media was saying. There's nothing really honest about him either. And now he's going to have 30-minute episode 3 times a week, specifically on Twitter, with the deal that they just brokered. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Your support of independent media does make sense, and one way that you could support this small mom and pop business is by checking out our shop on WeAreChangeDotShop. That's the website. It's linked down in the description below. Click on it right now and check out some of the really incredible products and supplements that we have available for you. As of course, the first product that we launched was ashwagandha, something that personally helped me, helps a lot of people with stress, hormones, testosterone, you name it. Once you go to WeAreChange.shop, it's the first natural herb and supplement that we recommend to you. As of course, make sure to do your own homework, make sure to do your own research before taking anything else. Yesterday, I definitely loaded up on some magnesium glycinate personally myself. I didn't stretch, I didn't warm up, I did a pretty vigorous crazy workout. Hurt myself right away, and now I'm using magnesium glycinate in order to help me recover from some of the crazy health stuff that I was doing. We have a lot of information. We have a lot of details surrounding the products that we sell to you. You should check it out, and by getting it, you make sure to take a step in the right direction when it comes to being the best, strongest version of yourself, something that we talk about on LukeUnfiltered.com. We're going to have another very special report for you guys available right after this video on that particular platform, where I will detail a lot of very surprising developments, especially when it comes to microplastics that are now specifically being found almost everywhere. Again, lots of crazy stuff. You won't believe where it's found recently. There's a lot of news surrounding Big Mike. We're going to get into all of it all on LukeUnfiltered.com. And again, make sure to do your own due diligence, your own homework, your own research, your own studies, your own tests to make sure you are making the right decisions for yourself as an individual, something that's incredibly important, especially in the day and age where we have crazy sociopathic CIA-connected national doctors and alleged health experts that literally are able to say and do whatever they want to do without any consequences. This, as of course, Dr. Fauci, in the making of this video, is currently testifying in Congress to the House GOP behind closed doors in secret meetings. This, as we're finding out from these specific procedures, he has already ducked over 100 questions about the origins of the sickness in 2020. But one question that he didn't duck was specifically him saying that he approved risky gain of function weaponization of the same specific sickness that hit the world that he was just particularly working on. As his excuse now is that he approved a specific proposal. He approved U.S. tax dollars to go towards this very risky, dangerous gain of function research, quote, without even reading the proposal paper on it before he personally approved it. Now, is that a legitimate excuse? Did that actually happen here? Is that just him just trying to obfuscate and not trying to be held responsible for something that, of course, has his fingerprints directly on it, as, of course, he held the response to something that many doctors and scientists claim he originally created and made himself through the approval of this research proposal. We're also hearing from some House Republicans that he backtracked on previous claims that he made. We're hearing that the session lasted nearly 7 hours and that many House Republicans are left feeling that the U.S. government drastically had major, quote, systemic failures. Now, was this a systemic failure? As, of course, many people profited, benefited, enriched, and empowered themselves through this very specific thing that we are now all supposed to believe was just a big old coinkydunk, a big old accident, just a failure of a system? No, that doesn't make sense, especially from the people who, of course, benefited off of it. Now, either way you slice it, Dr. Fauci signing off on millions of dollars worth of grants and research without reading the proposals or even reviewing them is the official story that everyone now wants us to believe, but is that actually what happened here? For me personally, I don't believe that kind of line of logic here. As, of course, Fauci personally commissioned a paper to disprove that the very grant, the very research that he committed wasn't connected to the same exact sickness that hit the world right after doing that very specific research from that very specific city that all of this happened in. Yeah. And again, it's absolutely bewildering to see the level of gaslighting, the level that the U.S. intelligentsia, the CIA specifically getting involved in social media, that almost every step of the way, especially when it came to bribing their analysts, bribing the scientists, bribing big tech social media companies, stopping us from realizing that the very thing that our tax dollars paid for, that Dr. Fauci stamped with approval, was, of course, the very thing that was let loose on the world. And, of course, causing massive damage to local populations, tremendous life loss, economic devastation that there might not be any going back from. And for this man still not to be held responsible for his extremely horrible, dangerous actions, as there is an overwhelming amount of evidence highlighting that this was the case, is just absolutely criminal in my own personal opinion. As we also find out that the Batwoman actually did meet with NIH and Fauci in 2017. And of course, there's been a lot of coincidences. There's been a lot of cover-ups. There's been major efforts by big tech social media to specifically snuff out any criticism, anyone connecting the dots, anyone putting the pieces together when it comes to just trying to understand what happened to us within the last 3 to 4 years. Now, the Republicans saying that there was drastic failures here makes no sense at all, as of course we were told there was drastic failures when it came to Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, as of course there's an overwhelming amount of U.S. intelligence agencies' connections to, of course, the story of the decade, as there are many things that are also being covered up about what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, about what he was doing, about who he was with, about all the money he had, as a lot of this was essentially a larger blackmail, extortion, entrapment operation by some really horrible individuals from intelligence agencies all around the world. And no matter how you kind of look at it, all of this kind of highlights gross, high levels of criminality that are being implemented by our government, by our tax dollars, by our intelligentsia against everyone else. The small children trafficked here, the people that had their lives destroyed within the last 3 to 4 years, who's going to recoup their losses? Who's going to be there for them? Who's going to try to recover some of the things that they were devastated by when it came to the intelligentsia ruining their lives? That's a question that I think is worth asking and considering and actually talking about. And if you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more imperative than ever. And because you do that, I'm still able to be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you doing that. And that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org. The conversation continues with a new broadcast available for you now on LukeUnfiltered.com. See you there.